Howie Roseman is about to break the internet, and the entire NFL landscape is shaking right now because the Philadelphia Eagles are officially playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. What if I told you that the most explosive athlete in the entire draft, a human highlight reel who just shattered combined records, was spotted inside the NovaCare Complex this weekend? We are talking about a move so aggressive, so typical of Howie's all-in mentality, that it could turn this already lethal offense into an unstoppable juggernaut. But that's not even the biggest story, because a projected top 10 defensive monster is suddenly seeing his draft stock go up in flames, and he might fall right into Philly's lap at pick 23. Is Philadelphia about to pull off the greatest draft day heist in the history of the franchise? Before we dive into madness and break down these massive rumors, smash that subscribe button if you want the fastest NFL updates on the planet. We are living and breathing Birds football every single day, and you do not want to miss what's coming next. The rumors are swirling, and the smoke is officially turning into a fire. Reports have confirmed that the Philadelphia Eagles hosted Oregon's absolute freak of nature, tight end Kenyan Sadi, for a top 30 visit over the weekend. Now, let's get real for a second. When you look at this Eagles roster, do they need a tight end? On paper, maybe not. But when a guy like Sadi is on the board, need goes right out the window. This is what we call a luxury selection, but it's the kind of luxury that wins Super Bowls. Think about the position the Eagles are in right now. They're a battle-tested playoff team sitting at pick number 23. Usually, teams in this spot are looking for a solid starter to fill a hole. But Howie Roseman doesn't just want a starter. He wants a weapon. Kenyan Sadi isn't just a football player. He's a glitch in the system. We're talking about the man who just clocked the fastest 40-yard dash in the history of the NFL combined for a tight end. Let that sink in. He is faster than most wide receivers and bigger than most safeties. Now, some of you might be thinking, why not wait? There are plenty of guys like Eli Stowers out of Vanderbilt who might be there in the second round, or maybe a Sam Roush in the fourth. You got names like Oscar Delp, Max Clare, or Daquan right further down the board. But none of those guys have the factor that Sadi brings to the table. If Kenyan Sadi is sitting there at 23, the energy in the Eagles draft room is going to be electric. However, we know Howie. We know how this team is built. Historically, the Eagles build from the inside out. They believe in the trenches. If the board falls a certain way and a premier offensive tackle is staring them in the face, they might take the safe route to protect Jalen Hurts. Maybe it's a guy like Vega Ione out of Penn State if they want to beef up the interior. Or if a high-end edge rusher starts to slide, Howie usually pounces because you can never have enough guys who can hunt the quarterback. But here is the million-dollar question. Can you really pass up a generational athletic talent for a depth piece on the line? The Eagles already have their franchise quarterback in Jalen Hurts. They have the foundation. Now, they need the ultimate chess piece. Sadi is that piece. I personally don't think he even makes it to 23. I think some team in the top 15 or 16 picks is going to see that 40 time and lose their minds. But if he falls, it's a total masterclass in value. Sadiq's tape is a roller coaster of pure adrenaline. He has this insane athletic ability where he doesn't just catch the ball, he attacks it. He has 3-level juice, meaning he can kill you on a short slant, destroy your linebackers in the intermediate game, and then outrun your deepest safety for a 70-yard touchdown. Is he perfect? No. He had some issues with drops last year that drove fans crazy. But you can't teach 4. 3 speed in a tight end's body. If he sharpens those hands, the sky isn't just the limit. He's going to be in a different atmosphere. And don't even get me started on his blocking. Most finesse, tight ends want nothing to do with the dirty work. Not Sadi. He plays with a genuine mean streak. He wants to put defenders in the dirt. He's a bit shorter than your traditional tight end, but that just makes him more versatile. You can line him up in line, split him out wide like a receiver, put him in the backfield as an H-back, or use him in motion to create mismatches. Imagine Sean Mannion getting his hands on a weapon like this. The possibilities for jet sweeps, in-arounds, and screen passes are endless. He reminds me of those guys who were underused in college, but exploded in the pros. Look at George Kittle at Iowa. Barely had any catches. Look at Travis Kelce at Cincinnati. He wasn't exactly a household name back then. Sadi had 51 catches for over 500 yards and 8 touchdowns last year. That's solid, but in the NFL, with Jalen Hurts throwing him the rock, he could be a Hall of Famer. But wait until you hear why a certain defensive superstar might be falling right into Howie's hands. This is where things get really intense. Could Ruben Bane actually fall to the Eagles at 23? 2 weeks ago, if you suggested that, people would have called you crazy. He was a lock for the top 10. But the draft world was rocked yesterday by a report that has changed everything. We have to talk about the serious situation involving Bane back in 2024. A report surfaced detailing deadly car crash.
It really dictates the defense didn't
the driver. He was with 2 of his teammates and a young woman who sadly passed away after being in a coma for months. While the legal charges were eventually dropped and the family chose not to pursue a civil case, the character concerns flag is now flying high in NFL front offices. Let's be clear. From a legal standpoint, Ruben Bane is in the clear. But NFL GMs are notoriously terrified of off-the-field issues, especially when it involves lack of judgment and reckless driving. We've seen this story too many times with players from Georgia or even legends like Tiger Woods. It's a recurring nightmare in professional sports. So what does this mean for the Eagles? If Bane starts to slide, how far does he go? Some analysts think the Kansas City Chiefs at number 9 would still take him because Steve Spagnuolo loves dominant pass rushers and wouldn't care about the noise. But if he passes 9, he could enter a free fall. If the Eagles have the chance to grab a top 10 talent at pick 23 because of a slide, do they do it? This is a guy with a motor that never stops. His lower body strength is legendary. He can turn speed into power so fast, it makes offensive tackles look like they're standing on ice. He's a bit of a tweener because his arms are a little short, under 31 inches, which makes it hard for him to shed blocks once a big tackle gets their hands on him. But his burst, his bend off the edge, it's elite. Last season, he put up nearly 10 sacks and over 80 pressures. Those are monster numbers. He's shown that when he's on the field for a full season, he is a nightmare for opposing offensive coordinators. Who is to blame if the Eagles pass on a talent like Bane? If he's sitting there at 23, do you take the risk? Drop a D for draft or a P for pass in the comments right now. I want to see where the fan base stands on this. But as much as we love the draft, there's a massive storm brewing with one of our current superstars, and it involves a potential betrayal. The AJ Brown saga has taken a massive, unexpected turn. For months, the vibe around Philadelphia was that a trade was almost inevitable. National insiders like Mike Garafolo were practically guaranteeing that Brown would be moved this offseason. He's been vocal, he's been seemingly unhappy, and the rumors of a rift in the locker room have been deafening. But hold on. After the recent league meetings, the tune is changing. Garafolo is now reporting that there is a very real path where AJ Brown stays in Philly for the 2026 season. Now, let's be honest, that would be awkward. The optics of keeping a player who has scrubbed his social media and looked disconnected wouldn't be easy. But the Eagles are apparently doing everything in their power to smooth things over. However, there is a predator in the weeds. The New England Patriots are lurking. Their GM, Eliot Wolf, didn't hold back today when asked about Brown. He basically told the media that the Patriots are not going to shy away from aggressive moves to improve their team. They want a true number 1 receiver, and they have the draft capital to make Howie Roseman an offer that might be impossible to refuse. Imagine the betrayal if AJ Brown ends up in a Patriots jersey. The Eagles are trying to make him happy, but if New England offers a top-tier first-round pick, does Howie pull the trigger to reset the salary cap? The drama in Philadelphia is just getting started. Whether it's drafting a track star like Kenyan Sadiq, taking a gamble on the sliding Ruben Bane, or navigating the explosive AJ Brown trade rumors, one thing is certain. This offseason is a total disaster for our heart rates, but a masterclass in entertainment. Make sure you stay locked in right here. We are going to be back tomorrow with more breaking news, more rumors, and more Birds content because the grind never stops in the city of brotherly love. Who do you want to see in the midnight green next year? Is it the freak athlete at tight end or the powerhouse on the defensive line? And what should happen with AJ Brown? The clock is ticking, the draft is closing in, and Howie Roseman is ready to shock the world once again. Keep it right here, and as always, go Birds.